That's interesting. Well, it was all Anton's concept. I mean, the Where's the Revolution video was all his concept. I was keen to have a bit of performance in there, being the band, being how we kind of simulating how we would be. Martin playing guitar, Fletcher on some keyboards or something, and me sort of performing. Anton had this whole idea to build this very sort of Karl Marxy type sort of little stage. There's actually a photograph, some period that the inspiration came from, where Marx is kind of talking and he's on a sort of wooden podium like that, and there's a few people listening to him. Very old photograph. So we wanted that in there. We wanted that kind of imagery. Anton definitely wanted it, and then we wanted some humour in there as well. So Anton's good at that. And then we like this ridiculous idea as well of all these dancers, sort of parading around with their red flags and their uniforms and kind of listening to what this guy's preaching about. At some points it's just a song, at some points we're businessmen trying to big business, and then the sort of socialist aspect of it. And then right at the end of the video, very ceremoniously, Anton Corbijn has us kind of putting these flags, red flags, into a funeral pyre. You don't see them on fire or anything, but it's kind of just, the imagery is kind of none of it works. None of it works.
Piccola post.
I've often said that for me, and we like it for lots of different reasons. The word spirit has lots of different connotations. But for me, the album title would have maybe been better if it had been Spirit ?
I think at the moment anyway, I think it also shows the band as of today. The spirit of the band is still here. We still want to make good records, still want to make good concerts as well.
Ci abbiamo pensato.
I mean, we were already well into the recording, if not finished by that point, to be honest. And that some of these songs, most of these songs, were written a good sort of year and a half ago. Maybe even a little longer, some of them. But it's just out there in the air, I think, just this feeling of I think we're sort of in the right place at the right time, but, musically and lyrically. Music can do that sometimes. You just fall into place. Film does it as well. There's a lot of people out there that seem to be very disillusioned with what's going on in the world. And then there's a lot of people as well that are telling you that, no, this is the new world order, this is how it's supposed to be. And I think there's a kickback going on, and it's you can feel it, you can feel it, and that's where change happens, so it's nice to be kind of part of that. And my daughter was really upset, that morning was be etched in my mind, just waking up and going into her bedroom where she was, about to wake up to go to school. She's 17 now, a young woman, and asked me, did Hillary win? No. And her face just said it all. Her face dropped and she started crying, and, Mum came in, and it was one of those moments where you just feel like you're kind of letting down your kids. Something's not right.
Yes. Even though the majority of the songs were written before Trump was elected, before Brexit. The world, I felt, was still in a mess, and I felt like I couldn't really just write songs and ignore that.
Well, that was our video director and general director of everything to do with the arts, Anton Corbijn. And it's, he always understands that Depeche Mode do have a sense of humour. So that's quite a funny part.
So at the moment, it changes. My favourite song on the album, on Spirit right now, probably is Cover Me. I like the way that song ended up. I like where it sits on the album. And I like the fact that it's not kind of in the normal arrangement of something we might do in terms of the way you arrange a pop song, or, rock song or whatever. It takes you somewhere else, and it fits right in a good spot on the album. My favourite song for a while was probably Worst Crime. And in saying that as well, that's a song that's probably we won't perform live, or we might sometimes, on a TV show, or if we did like a radio performance, it'd be a good song that you can break down and you can, I know lyrically and the vocal melody and everything, I really got into that song. But it always changes for me, and then once we go on tour, something else becomes like the moment. I'm quite enjoying performing Where's the Revolution at the moment as well, when we've been in rehearsals working that song up. And backwards as well. Going backwards is a song that feels good as well in the set.
No, James was suggested to us, and we liked pretty much everything that he'd worked on across the board. And he'd worked on a lot of different bands from different genres of music, but he always got a good sound. So that's why we decided to ask James.
And he was in an electronic duo as well, which was another good reason. We've had the same producer for a few albums, Ben Hillier, and we thought it was time for a change. But we really can't compete with the pop music of today. We're very fortunate. We've got a large audience that buys CDs and vinyl, and that's good for us.
What about
some of them do download, I think.
yeah, and some streams.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Some of them.
I don't know, when we're making the record, I start to feel like I know what songs are going to work live and what won't. It's not because they're not good songs. Sometimes it's just it doesn't work in a set. It doesn't come across. I can quite often be very wrong about that. But usually I pick. There's like 6 or 7 songs or something that I feel like we could have a go at these. These could work. And then I try and think about how to place them. I like to start the show with something new. I think that's important. I think that your first impression should be something that you're doing, maybe the first few songs. And then I kind of trying to work something in there that people are going to recognise, and maybe a surprise or two. I like the feel to kind of work into something. Maybe there's like kind of when Martin usually sings a couple of songs in the middle of the show, gives me a chance to kind of have a breather, and also it's kind of nice when it changes it up. There's a whole different feel that happens there. And then the idea really is then you've got to make the second half of the performance lift you somewhere. It's got to take you somewhere. So usually the last half of the set ends up being quite a lot of old songs. And we've got a couple of surprises in there too.
We've only seen one picture of the stage set at the moment.
And which picture is that? How is it? There's one of the picture, maybe the
I'm on the same side.
But yeah, I think we have to remember that we're entertainers, and one thing I'm really looking forward to is getting to Europe and stop getting my alerts on my phone that go off every half an hour. And like 9 out of 10 of them are about something crazy that Trump's done. I'm looking forward to getting away from all of that and actually getting on tour and being an entertainer, and then also taking our audience away from all the craziness that's happening in the world for 2 hours.
The new songs are fitting in very well with the old songs. 5 or 6 maybe.
Oh, 5 or 6 on 12.
Yeah.
So less than a half.
Yeah. And Anton's obviously working on the imagery of the show. We know we're going to Europe, to America, to South America, and then after that probably maybe back to Europe.
No festival, no big festivals?
That wouldn't be till the summer afterwards, if we You know, depends on how we're feeling. You know, we're getting old, as you said. You know. Look at us. Grey hair.
I don't know, it's just it's a bit of passion, kind of throw it out there on stage. They appreciate that. You know, always great concerts there. And we're doing 3 big stadiums in Rome and Milan and Bologna. They're just so joyful and like full of energy and just wanting to just have a good time and totally support it. Just you feel it, you know, you can really feel it.
Sì, sì.